Please welcome the Senior Vice President for Experience from Wandrian, Mr. Will Phillipson.
Thank you. I'm here to tell you a little bit about what we've been doing at Wandrian. But before I get to that, I thought it prudent to give everybody a little bit of context so that you understand the challenges that we are facing. Lots of challenges, technical challenges. Is anyone here an old hand from the airline industry, perhaps? Anyone remember the days of paper tickets, manual reconciliations, if you go back far enough, even handwritten reservations? The days when green screen dumb terminals were considered the cutting edge of innovation? And of course, lineups. Everywhere you went, there was a lineup, whether it was on the phone to make a reservation, it was to line up to get your tickets, to get a boarding pass, anything of that nature. Over the last 20 years, 30 years, 50 years, depending on your take, the airlines have invested billions of dollars in modernizing the airline industry. From electronic reservation systems, inventory systems, electronic tickets even, that have enabled things like kiosks for self-service, and of course websites, where customers can manage their entire travel experience, from shopping, booking, all the way to checking their itineraries, choosing their seats, boarding passes, anything of that nature. It's gotten to the point where a customer doesn't interact with staff from the airline until they're actually getting onto the plane. Thankfully, we no longer have messy, dirty, smudged fingers from foils from the tickets and no manual reconciliations. Great. Not quite so fast. Let me introduce you to the train travel industry. Massive industry, $200 billion marketplace, with surprisingly almost 80% of transactions happening at the point of service delivery. That picture that you see there is a picture I took myself while trying to purchase a ticket a few months back in the UK. And surprisingly, most of the tickets are what are called open tickets. You purchase the ticket from here to wherever you're going, and you can take the next train, the train after that, maybe even the one tomorrow. There's no notion of choosing a seat like there is in the airline industry. Why is this important? Quick background. Train travel is growing amazingly. High-speed trains in Europe especially have 60% market share in anything under 4 hours. After 9/11, you're all very familiar with the wait times at airports, get there 2-3 hours before departures, especially for international travel. Train, 15 minutes, show up, get on the train, go. Environmental concerns are growing all over the place. And efficiency. You get on a train, you can use your phone the whole trip. You can use your laptop. There's no takeoff, landing, anything of that nature. And the growth is phenomenal, both in terms of how the industry is growing and the investment that has been committed to expanding the network. If you take a look at booking a train ticket today, first of all, has anyone ever tried to book a train ticket online? Wow. Has anyone ever succeeded in booking a train ticket online? You guys have a lot of patience. I'm very impressed. Booking a train ticket online, I liken to a 12-step program. How can we convince you to be cured of ever wanting to buy a train ticket online? Here's 3 leading websites. Germany, France, the high-speed leader, the largest train operating company is in Germany. The largest operator of high-speed networks is in France. And the UK, which amazingly has a $10 billion industry all to itself. These are the first 6 or 7 pages in the process of buying a train ticket online. And the amazing thing is not these 6 or 7 steps, it's the 6 or 7 steps that come after this that I couldn't even fit on the screen. It's horrendous. It's unbelievable, the process that they expect customers to go through. They've basically taken old offline manual processes and put them online, and they expect consumers to understand and adapt to that process. Well, that's where Wandrian comes into play. Our mission is to make traveling by train a top choice for travelers around the world. We are passionate about simplifying the planning and purchasing of train travel. If you take a look at the industry today, on the business side or the consumer side, leading distributors, for the most part, do not sell train. Why? because they cannot access the product. Each of the train operators have proprietary and extremely complex business processes. There are no standards. There is no ATP code or anything like that for the distribution of fares, availability, timetables. The business processes themselves are very different from one train operator to another. So even if they had a business case for connecting to a single provider, that business case cannot be moved across countries because each market has its own set of rules as well. This is where Wandrian comes into play. Our system has been built to connect and understand in the various methods of each of the train operating companies, and to normalize that through a single, simple-to-use API to make available to the marketplace, turning distributors into people who access train travel without having to understand the vagrancies of each of the individual suppliers, never mind APIs in different languages. And of course, our system is secure and scalable, built on the latest buzzword-compliant technologies. A live example of XML. Our XML API has been designed to be very easily picked up and usable by anyone who has done web services integration in the travel industry. Very simple, create a request, submit it to our application, we do all the translation, all the localization for the specific business rules of the carrier, and you get a very simple, easy-to-use response. Everything you get back is available, saleable, priced, and rule-checked. What does this mean to you on the distribution side? It means that you can take a user interface, your selling platform, use our API, and focus on your core competency of selling to your customer base, whether that be a consumer, a travel agent, a corporate user using a self-booking tool, or whatever the case may be. Taking the exact same query that we just did in the XML, getting all that information back, and being able to display it on the screen according to how you wish to display it. This is a prototype that Wandrian has been working on for the last month or so. And you can see that we're very quickly able to get a merchandise display without having to go extra steps to check for upgrades or availability or anything of that nature. The second thing that's very important about this prototype, based on our API, is that we are cutting down that 12-step program to 3 or 4 steps. Ask the customer what they're looking for, let them select their option, let them buy. Try not to stand in the way of a customer giving you money. The API is also designed to provide information back to the user interface so that it can intelligently ask the questions of the customer. Some train lines ask for things for certain products such as passports, residency, identification information, shipping addresses if there's tickets to be sent, whatever the case may be. We provide all that information back in the API so the user interfaces can dynamically adapt. And very quickly, we take care of processing the order, whether the credit card is processed by us or handed through to the supplier. What would happen if we moved to Europe? For example, absolutely nothing. The API is exactly the same. Here we have an example from the City of Lights, love, to the capital of Europe. Same paradigm that you're looking at from a user interface perspective, same paradigm on the API. And you're able to get back all of the results. We handle all of the interpretation going out to multiple suppliers, bringing back multiple different train operators, all the various different fares that allows you to focus on your core paradigm of selling. And all the rest of the process is exactly the same. The Wandrian System, single source for global rail, full lifecycle support, full product support, not just the common denominator, and it's a global point of sale. That means multi-currency, localization, and everything else, including point of sale controls. Where we see this going is partnering with leading distributors to really spur innovation in terms of air and rail integration, dynamic packaging, and all the rest of those things. So finally, Wandrian, we're really about bringing train travel to the marketplace through leading-edge technology, innovative business solutions to make sure that train travel is a top choice for travelers throughout the world, basically allowing us to put train travel in front of consumers or buyers wherever they are, as opposed to making them search out in vain for train travel. Thank you very much. We're across the way if you'd like more information.